Hello everybody, my name is Dee and welcome to Books and Quirks. Today is Friday, so it's time for a Friday Reads. I know that I have been away the past couple of weeks, but time has it's just been so busy, and if you've heard any of my previous videos, I had a lot of travels and things, and even getting back from those trips, just getting back into the swing of things was kind of hard. But now that's all over. The holidays are upon us and I don't have any travels for quite some time. So in addition to Friday Reads, I thought I'd spend some time giving my nonfiction November wrap-up as well. I managed to go through my whole TBR and I really enjoyed them for the most part. So let me get right into it. So the first book that I finished for Nonfiction November was Talking as Fast as I Can by Lauren Graham. This is her memoir about the time that she spent filming the first Gilmore Girls, as well as the revival that came on Netflix in 2016. I absolutely love Lauren Graham. I think she's just so funny, and I'm such a huge fan of her from those shows. Also, I watched her, after the Gilmore Girls, she was on Parenthood and a main cast member. And yeah, I just absolutely love her, and I really enjoyed this. This was kind of like my fun nonfiction TBR pick. And yeah, I read it in a couple of days, and I think that you would really only enjoy this if you're a fan of Lauren Graham, though. The next book that I finished for Nonfiction November was The Secret Token. And I can't say the author's name, but I will put a picture, and this was about the lost colony of Roanoke. So if you know American history, or if you're a big history buff like I am, then you know that the lost colony, this was the first settlers in America, the first English settlers in America, and they all came to off the coast of North Carolina in 1590, and this man, his name is John White, was the leader of the expedition. So he brought 100 men, women, and children over to the mainland, the U.S. mainland, and they settled there. But John White actually went back to England because he needed to resupply, and for different reasons, the threat from the Spanish, Queen Elizabeth did not allow him to go back until 3 years later. And when he went back 3 years later, they all just vanished, like seemingly vanished into thin air. Like the houses were still intact, like all of the things were still intact. It's like they just up and vanished. And that was in 1590, and still to this day, historians are still coming up with theories. Like, nobody knows for sure what happened to those colonists. They just all disappeared, not one trace of them, except for one word carved on a post, and the word was Croatoan, but that didn't lead to any, real clues. So I really find it fascinating. I really enjoyed the first half of the book. The second half of the book kind of went into more our fascination with it over the centuries, and I didn't really enjoy that part. It kind of felt like he went off on tangents, but for the most part, I liked the book. The next book that I finished was Lords of Finance by Liaquat Ahamed. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. This was about the 4 central bankers who made all of the major economic decisions and banking decisions throughout the 1920s. And they, because of their, decisions over that decade, they were the ones that really caused the economic collapse and the Great Depression. So I really never knew about these 4 men and all of their decisions, and it's kind of like a series of decisions led to the Great Depression, a series of very poor decisions. And I really found this fascinating. However, I have to be honest, I'm not an economist, and this book, a lot of it went straight over my head. I think that you would really only enjoy this if either A, you're a huge history buff, or B, you're an economist, because this book went really deep into, economic currency and trade, and you know, it's just a lot of things that I just right over my head. But I did enjoy this for, you know, the most part. I gave it 3 stars. And finally, I read Damnation Island. Damnation Island is about the 19th century prison system and lunatic asylum that was located off the coast of New York City in an island now called Roosevelt Island. This island was infamous in its poor, and just the atmosphere, the uncleanliness, the poor treatment of not only the criminals, but, you know, the quote unquote, you know, people that were deemed insane. And back in the 19th century, you know, it didn't take a whole lot to be declared insane. I mean, it didn't take a doctor or anything to commit you. It just had to be a family member and, you know, somebody else kind of signing off saying, yes, they should be committed. And a lot of women were committed for basically nothing, you know, just, you know, maybe they went out after 10 o'clock unescorted, or maybe they were really, didn't have a good relationship with their family, and their family just kind of wanted to get rid of them, or they were just too uncontrollable, you know, and by uncontrollable, you know, in the 19th century, it just meant you were a little bit vivacious and a little bit, you know, you didn't conform to what society thought you should be. So it was really sad, but really interesting at the same time. And I really enjoyed this book. So now on to what I'll be reading for this coming weekend and into the week. So first of all, I'm rereading the YA series, Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. The reason I'm rereading it is because the last book is coming out, or just came out actually recently. I did purchase it, but it's not here yet. But yeah, I'm really excited. I just want to see how this all concludes, so I am enjoying myself. I am currently on the 3rd book, Heir of Fire, and I am more than halfway through. And that this week, and then if I finish this, I'll go on to Queen of Shadows, which is the 4th book. So there's 7 in total. So I wanted to reread them all, even though I remember a lot of it. I just wanted to, you know, kind of get the whole experience from start to finish, because I really do love this series. It's a YA series, it's fantasy, has a kick-ass heroine, and I really, really enjoy it. I know a lot of people kind of, you know, it's kind of hit or miss with them. Either they really love Sarah J. Maas and her writing, or they really hate Sarah J. Maas and her writing. And finally, starting tomorrow on December 1st, I will be participating in a couple of readathons throughout the month, very much Christmas themed, and a lot of them romance themed as well. I'll do a whole separate video for that, but I'm going to be starting on my first Christmassy book, and that is Starry Night by Debbie Macomber. I love Debbie Macomber. She's very, if you're a Hallmark fan, a Hallmark Christmas movie fan, or just a Christmas book fan, then you probably have heard of her. She's written, I don't know how many books, but a lot of books on Christmas and romance and all of that. So it's actually, I think it's maybe even considered a novella. It's a very short book, but I think I'm going to have no problem starting off the month of December with that book. And like I said, I'll be doing a whole separate video on my TBRs for these readathons in the next couple of days. So that is all I have for you. I very much enjoyed this month, even though it was a very short nonfiction November TBR, only 4 books. I'm very happy that I was able to finish it, because it's been very tough. You know, I've just been so busy with work and travel and just life in general that I didn't know if I would be able to do it. I haven't had the best reading year. It's actually been my lowest amount of reading in a number of years, but I really am happy that I finished the ones that I set out to read. And yeah, I hope you all are having a good day, a good weekend. By me, it's going to be a pretty rainy weekend, but it's still not, you know, not that cold. And I actually don't mind the rain for the most part. I find it very relaxing. It's just going out in the rain and getting wet that's kind of, you know, sucky. But anyway, I hope you all have a great weekend, and I will see you all very, very soon. Bye.